Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the edge of the Galactic Science Council's amphitheater, his hands trembling slightly as he clutched the data pad containing 3 years of painstaking research. Around him, representatives from dozens of species murmured, in their native tongues, the clicking of Vraxi mandibles, the harmonic hums of the crystalline Zephyrians, and the subsonic rumbles of the massive Gorvani delegates. "The human wishes to present," announced Chancellor Vexka, her 4 eyes gleaming with barely concealed amusement. The Vraxi leader's translator rendered her chittering into standard galactic. "How quaint." Laughter rippled through the assembly. Humans had only joined the Galactic Federation 15 years ago, and their scientific contributions were still viewed as primitive curiosities by the elder races. The Zephyrians had mastered quantum mechanics when Earth was still cooling. The Gorvani had built their first Dyson sphere before humanity discovered fire. Marcus stepped forward, his voice steady despite the dismissive atmosphere. "Esteemed colleagues, I present a breakthrough in matter displacement technology. True teleportation, across interstellar distances." The laughter grew louder. Dr. Yeath Moore, the lead Gorvani physicist, rumbled with amusement. "Young human, we mastered short-range teleportation millennia ago. The energy requirements for interstellar distances would require the output of an entire star." "Not with conventional methods," Marcus replied, activating his holographic display. Complex equations filled the air, showing calculations that seemed to violate several fundamental laws of physics. But human mathematics has always approached problems differently. The Zephyrian delegate, whose name translated roughly to harmony of infinite angles, chimed melodically, "Impossible. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle alone doesn't apply," Marcus interrupted. "When you stop thinking in 3 dimensions, he manipulated the hologram, revealing a mathematical framework that made several alien scientists lean forward despite themselves. Where traditional teleportation required precise knowledge of both position and momentum, an impossibility according to quantum mechanics, Marcus's equations suggested a way to sidestep the uncertainty principle entirely by routing matter through folded space-time. "Preposterous," hissed Chancellor Vexka. "Even if such mathematics were sound, the computational power required would exceed our most advanced quantum cores." Marcus smiled for the first time that day. "That's where human stubbornness comes in. Handy. We've been working on this for 3 years using nothing but parallel processing networks of human brains." The amphitheater fell silent. The concept of biological neural networks performing calculations that stumped quantum computers was beyond absurd. It was offensive to the scientific sensibilities of species who had long ago transcended such primitive biological limitations. "You cannot be serious," Dr. Yithmore thundered. "Biological computation for quantum mechanics? This is why humans should stick to agriculture." The insult stung, but Marcus had expected it. Perhaps a demonstration would be more convincing than theory. He activated his wrist communicator. "Sarah, are you ready?" "Ready as we'll ever be, Marcus," came the reply from Earth. Dr. Sarah Kim's voice carried across the vastness of space with crystal clarity. "The volunteer network is standing by. We've got 12,000 mathematicians, physicists, and computer scientists linked in. The target coordinates are locked." Chancellor Vexka's compound eyes narrowed. "Target coordinates?" Marcus gestured. "To the Great Viewing Wall, which shifted to show the Vraxi moon colony of Keth Prime, a gleaming metropolis of crystal spires and biomechanical architecture that housed 3 million Vraxi citizens." "Wait, The Chancellor started to object, but Marcus was already speaking into his communicator. Execute. On Earth, 12,000 human minds worked in perfect synchronization, their biological neural networks calculating quantum probabilities across 17 dimensions simultaneously. The mathematics that had taken Marcus 3 years to develop flowed through the linked consciousness like a river finding the ocean. The viewing wall showed Keth Prime in perfect detail, and then the moon simply wasn't there. Gasps and shrieks echoed through the amphitheater as the display showed empty space where the Vraxi moon colony had existed moments before. 3 million Vraxi had vanished without a trace. "Where did you send them?" Chancellor Vexka's voice cracked with horror. Marcus consulted his datapad calmly. "Approximately 47 light-years away, to an uninhabited system with a perfectly suitable planet. They should be arriving now." The viewing wall shifted again, showing the Vraxi moon colony materializing in orbit around a blue-green world. The crystal spires remained intact, the biomechanical architecture undamaged. Even the atmospheric dome that protected the colony had transferred perfectly. "Impossible," whispered Dr. Yithmore. "The energy requirements alone should have torn apart local space-time. Not when you distribute the calculation across 12,000 human brains," Marcus explained. "Biological neural networks operate on principles your quantum computers can't replicate. We don't process information. We feel our way through it. Intuition guided by mathematics, rather than pure computation." The silence in the amphitheater was deafening. Species that had considered humans barely more than clever primates were forced to confront the reality that biological evolution had produced something their advanced technology couldn't match. Chancellor Vexka finally found her voice. "The colony. You moved 3 million of my people without their consent." "They're perfectly safe," Marcus assured her. "In fact, they're probably quite comfortable. The planet has a 23-hour day cycle and remarkably Earth-like gravity. We thought the Vraxi might enjoy the challenge of a new world." "Bring them back," the Chancellor demanded. Marcus shook his head. "I'm afraid that's not possible. The calculation was so complex that even our network needs several days to recover before attempting another transfer. But don't worry. We've already established a communication relay. Your people are already sending positive reports about their new home." The implications hung heavy in the air. Humanity had just demonstrated the ability to relocate entire populations across interstellar distances instantly, safely, and apparently without significant energy expenditure. The strategic applications were staggering. Dr. Yithmore was the first to understand. You could move fleets, entire planets, relocate populations from dying worlds. Or, Marcus added quietly, remove threats before they become problems. The threat was implicit but clear. Humanity had just announced itself as the new dominant force in the galaxy, not through superior technology or overwhelming military might, but through the one thing no other species possessed: the chaotic, intuitive, brilliantly irrational human mind. Chancellor Vexka bowed deeply, her 4 eyes reflecting newfound respect and perhaps a touch of fear. "The Galactic Science Council recognizes Dr. Marcus Chen's remarkable achievement. Perhaps we have been too hasty in our assessments of human potential." Marcus nodded graciously, though inside he was grinning. Humanity had spent 15 years being treated as the galaxy's newest curiosity. Now they would be treated as equals, or perhaps something more. As he left the amphitheater, Marcus activated his communicator once more. "Sarah, Prepare the network for Phase 2. Which targets this time? Marcus looked back at the assembled alien scientists, all now frantically working to understand how humans had achieved the impossible. Surprise me,